My name is Luella. Standing in my parents' garage, surrounded by armed agents and the chaos of a thwarted theft, I'm reminded of how quickly things can go wrong when family underestimates the importance of my work. It all started with a simple request. I work as a senior cultural property specialist for the Department of Homeland Security's Cultural Heritage Protection Division. It's a job that most people, including my family, know very little about. My parents, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, are simple folks. Dad is a retired mechanic, always practical and down to earth. Mom is a former schoolteacher, kind-hearted but a bit naive. My brother, Ryan, 34, is a self-proclaimed business genius, always looking for the next big deal. I hold a PhD in art history from Harvard and have specialized training in cultural property law. I also have a top-secret security clearance. My job involves tracking stolen artifacts, protecting cultural heritage during military operations, and investigating international art theft rings. A few months ago, we seized a collection of paintings in a raid on a storage facility in Brooklyn. These paintings were part of a massive investigation into a Russian crime syndicate, led by a man named Ivanov. The syndicate was using high-end art sales to launder money and hide intelligence materials. The paintings, which looked like ordinary modern abstract pieces to the untrained eye, were actually worth approximately $500,000 combined. Hidden within the paint layers were documents, microdots, and encoded information, making them critical evidence in the case. Due to the nature of the investigation, which required complete secrecy, I couldn't explain the full situation to my family. I asked my parents if I could store some work paintings in their climate-controlled garage temporarily, saying they were part of a long-term cataloging project. They agreed without much thought, and Ryan mocked me for needing storage space because my small government apartment was too cramped for my boring art collection. I let him think that it was safer than the truth. For 8 months, everything went smoothly. I checked on the paintings monthly, documenting their condition, ensuring the security seals remained intact, and filing reports with my office. Then, one fateful Saturday morning, I was in my apartment in Queens, reviewing case files for an upcoming briefing on art recovery from war-torn regions. I received a text from Ryan, cleaning out the garage today. Your art junk is taking up too much space. I frowned and texted back, don't touch those paintings. They're government property. Ryan replied, all government property. They're your paintings. You said they were for a cataloging project. I tried to explain, they're evidence in a federal investigation. Do not move them. But Ryan was having none of it. Sure they are. Stop being dramatic. I need the space for my new home office equipment. I called him immediately, but it went to voicemail. Ryan, this is serious. Those paintings are protected federal assets. You cannot move them, touch them, or alter them in any way. Call me back immediately. When he didn't respond, I called my parents. Mom answered. Sweetie, what's wrong? Is Ryan at the house? I asked urgently. He's in the garage cleaning things out. Finally decided to organize all that clutter, Mom said. Mom, stop him right now. He cannot touch those paintings, I pleaded. Oh, Luella, they're just taking up space. Ryan said he found someone interested in buying them. Isn't that nice? You'll finally make some money from your art hobby, Mom said casually. My blood went cold. Someone interested in buying them? Who? Some art dealer Ryan knows. He's coming by this afternoon to look at them, Mom replied. Mom, listen very carefully. Those paintings are evidence in a classified federal investigation. They are tagged government property. If Ryan sells them, he's committing theft of federal assets. Stop him immediately, I said firmly. Classified investigation? Luella, honey, that sounds very dramatic for some paintings, Mom laughed nervously. I'm on my way. Do not let anyone touch those paintings. I'll be there in 40 minutes, I said, already grabbing my keys and running out the door. As I drove, I called the Cultural Heritage Emergency Line. Agent Carter here, a voice answered. Carter, this is Dr. Luella Thompson. I need to report potential theft of classified items from a secondary storage location. Authorization code Sierra Juliet 56 Foxtrot, I said. Stand by for verification, Carter replied. After a short pause, he said, verified. What's the situation, Dr. Thompson? The Ivanov collection pieces in protective custody at my family's residence. My brother is attempting to sell them to an unknown buyer. I need immediate asset protection response, I said, my voice tense. Jesus. The Ivanov paintings? Those are hot items, Luella. Half the intelligence community is watching that case, Carter said. I know. That's why I need a team there now. My brother doesn't understand what he's handling, I replied. Dispatching security team to your location. ETA 25 minutes. Do not engage with potential buyers yourself. Wait for the team, Carter instructed. I drove as fast as I could, my mind racing with the implications. The Ivanov paintings were a key part of the investigation. If they fell into the wrong hands, it could mean a major setback for national security. 38 minutes later, I arrived at my parents' house in Long Island. Ryan's car was in the driveway, along with an unfamiliar black sedan. I knew I was too late, the buyer was already here. I parked and called Carter. On site. Unknown vehicle present. Buyer may already be here. Team is 3 minutes out. Wait for backup, Luella, Carter said. I stayed in my car, watching the house through the garage window. I could see figures moving around. There were 3 or 4 people inside. My phone rang. It was Ryan. Where the hell are you? This dealer is ready to make an offer, but he wants to talk to the owner. Get over here. I'm outside, I said calmly. Who is this buyer? Art dealer from Soho. Friend of a friend. He specializes in modern abstract work. Says these pieces could be worth something if they're authenticated properly, Ryan said. What's his name? I asked. Why does it matter? Are you coming in or not? He's ready to offer $12,000 for the whole collection, Ryan said. $12,000 for paintings worth $500,000 and containing classified intelligence materials. This wasn't a legitimate art dealer, this was someone who knew exactly what these paintings were. Ryan, I need you to listen very carefully. Do not sell those paintings. Do not let that man leave with them. I'm calling the authorities right now, I said. The authorities? Luella, what the hell are you talking about? These are your paintings, Ryan said, clearly annoyed. They're evidence in a federal investigation. That man is not an art dealer. He's trying to acquire classified government property, I explained. You're insane. I'm selling them. You can pick up your check later, Ryan said and hung up. I immediately called Carter again. Buyer is attempting to acquire items now. Brother is proceeding with sale. I need that team here immediately. 90 seconds out, Carter replied. I got out of my car and walked towards the house. Through the garage window, I saw Ryan handing the paintings to a man in a sharp suit. 2 other men stood nearby, watching. I opened the garage door, and all 4 men turned to look at me. Luella, finally. This is Mr. Markov. He's buying your paintings, Ryan said irritably. Markov, a Russian name, of course. I'm afraid there's been a misunderstanding, I said calmly, pulling out my credentials. Dr. Luella Thompson, Department of Homeland Security, Cultural Heritage Protection Division. These paintings are protected federal assets. They are not for sale. Ryan stared at me in disbelief. Department of Homeland Security? What are you talking about? These items are evidence in an ongoing federal investigation, I continued, focusing on Markov. They are tagged and cataloged as government property. Any attempt to purchase or remove them constitutes theft of federal assets. Markov smiled slightly. I think there is confusion. Your brother has the right to sell family property. These are not family property. They are evidence in the Ivanov investigation. I believe you're already familiar with that case, Mr. Markov, I said. His smile disappeared. Luella, what the hell are you talking about? These are your paintings from your cataloging project, Ryan demanded. They're evidence, part of a classified investigation into international art trafficking and money laundering. I stored them here under protective custody protocols. You've just attempted to sell government property to someone with likely connections to the original criminal organization, I said. This is ridiculous. They're just paintings, Ryan said. They're evidence of espionage operations, and Mr. Markov knows exactly what they are, I said flatly. Markov moved towards the door, and his two associates followed him. I think there is a mistake. We leave now, Markov said smoothly. No one is leaving, I said. You cannot stop us, one of the associates said, his accent thick. Actually, I can, I said, pressing a button on my phone. All units, this is Dr. Thompson. Subjects attempting to flee with classified items. Authorization to detain. Suddenly, the garage filled with DHS security teams. Agents came through both doors, weapons drawn, vests clearly marked. They moved with practiced precision. Department of Homeland Security. Nobody move. Ryan screamed and dropped a painting. Markov's associates reached for weapons, but the DHS team was faster. Hands. Show me your hands. Within 30 seconds, all three men were on the ground, being handcuffed. Ryan stood frozen against the wall, hands up, his face white with shock. My mother came running from the house. What's happening? Luella, what's going on? She stopped, staring at the armed agents in her garage. Mom, stay back, I said. Agent Carter came through, badge out. Dr. Thompson, subject secured. You've got the paintings. You want to explain what the hell happened here? I gestured to Ryan. My brother attempted to sell classified evidence to what appears to be a Russian intelligence asset. He was unaware of the nature of the items. He tried to sell the Ivanov paintings? Carter's eyes widened. Ryan said weakly, what are Ivanov paintings? Evidence in a major counterintelligence operation. You just tried to sell classified government property to Russian intelligence operatives. That's about 15 federal crimes right there, Carter said sharply. I didn't know. Luella said they were for a cataloging project. She never said they were classified, Ryan shouted. Because the investigation is classified. I couldn't tell you. That's why I explicitly instructed you not to touch them. You said they were government property. I thought you were being dramatic. I'm a federal agent. When I say don't touch something, it's not drama. It's law, I said. Carter was photographing the scene. Who initiated contact with the buyers? I did, Ryan said miserably. I posted on a community board that I had abstract paintings for sale. This guy, Markov, reached out within an hour. Within an hour, Carter repeated. Because they've been watching for these paintings. They knew they were here. I felt a chill. They've been surveying my parents' house? Likely. The Ivanov organization has extensive intelligence resources. They probably tracked the paintings here months ago and have been waiting for an opportunity, Carter said. Carter looked at Markov, now handcuffed on the ground. We'll need to sweep the entire property for surveillance equipment. Surveillance equipment? In our house? Mom said faintly. Ma'am, Your daughter is protecting evidence in a case involving Russian intelligence operations. These aren't just paintings. They contain classified materials hidden in the paint layers. They're worth approximately $500,000 and represent critical evidence in multiple ongoing investigations, Carter explained. Ryan's legs seemed to give out. He slid down the wall to sit on the garage floor. $500,000? At minimum. And that's just their monetary value. Their intelligence value is significantly higher, I said. I almost sold them for $12,000, Ryan whispered. You almost sold classified government property to foreign intelligence operatives, which is significantly worse than just a bad financial deal, Carter corrected. More vehicles were arriving. I recognized the FBI agents by their windbreakers, and there was someone from the CIA by the look of their credentials. This was escalating into a full-scale interagency response. A woman in her 50s approached, FBI badge visible. Dr. Thompson? Special Agent Linda Harris, FBI Counterintelligence. I understand you've had an interesting morning. That's one way to describe it, I said. We're going to need detailed statements from everyone present. Your brother, your parents, the subjects we just apprehended, and you, Agent Harris said. She looked at the paintings still stacked against the garage wall. They should never have been in unsecured civilian storage. They were in protective custody. I followed all protocols for secondary storage of evidence, I said defensively. Protocols that clearly didn't account for family members attempting to sell them, Agent Harris said dryly. We'll be reviewing those protocols. Dad had joined Mom, both of them staring at the scene in shock. Luella, you work for Homeland Security? Dad asked slowly. For 5 years. Cultural Heritage Protection Division. We investigate art theft, artifact trafficking, and cultural property crimes. This case involves Russian intelligence using art sales for money laundering and espionage, I explained. And you stored evidence in our garage, Mom said. With your permission, yes. I couldn't explain the full nature of the items due to classification requirements. I told you they were government property and asked you not to touch them, I said. We didn't. Ryan did, Dad said. Ryan was still sitting on the floor, head in his hands. I'm going to federal prison. That depends, Agent Harris said, kneeling next to him. Did you know these were government assets when you attempted to sell them? No. Luella told me not to touch them, but I thought she was being paranoid. She's always weird about her work stuff. I thought they were her personal paintings from some boring project, Ryan said. But she explicitly told you they were government property? Agent Harris asked. She said that, yeah. But I thought. I don't know what I thought. That she was exaggerating. Being dramatic, Ryan said, looking up at me with tears in his eyes. I didn't know you were actually a federal agent. I thought you cataloged art in a warehouse. I do catalog art. Art that's been seized in criminal investigations. Art connected to terrorism financing, money laundering, sanctions violations. Art that contains hidden intelligence materials. Like these, I said, gesturing to the paintings. Agent Carter had been examining the paintings more closely. Dr. Thompson, we need to transport these immediately. If the Ivanov organization knew they were here, we have to assume the location is compromised. Agreed. Where are we relocating them? I asked. Federal facility in Quantico. Full security protocols. No more civilian storage locations, Carter replied. Ryan found his voice again. Am I under arrest? Agent Harris considered. That depends on your level of cooperation and intent. You claim you didn't know these were classified government assets. Your sister claims she told you they were government property. We have text messages that likely prove that. So, the question is, were you criminally negligent or criminally intentional? Negligent. I'm an idiot who didn't listen to my sister. I'm not a spy, Ryan said immediately. We'll verify that, but for now, you're not under arrest. You're a witness to attempted theft of government property by foreign nationals. We'll need your full cooperation, Agent Harris said. Yes. Anything. I'll cooperate completely, Ryan promised. Agent Harris turned to me. Dr. Thompson, we need to debrief you on security protocols. Your family residence is now a compromised location. We'll need to sweep for surveillance, interview neighbors, trace how Markov knew to target this location. I understand, I said. The next 3 hours were a blur of statements, interviews, photographs, and security sweeps. The FBI found 2 cameras hidden in trees near my parents' property, watching the garage. They'd been there for at least 4 months. Professional installation. These are high-end surveillance equipment, not something you buy at a regular store, the tech specialist said. The Ivanov organization has connections to Russian intelligence services. They have access to sophisticated technology, I explained. That's a problem. If they've been watching your family for months, they know your patterns, your routines, your vulnerabilities. This house isn't safe, Agent Harris said. Not safe? What does that mean? Mom asked, terrified. It means the people trying to steal these paintings are part of a larger criminal organization with significant resources. They may try again using different methods. We recommend you and your husband stay elsewhere for a few weeks while we assess the threat level and ensure they've moved on to other targets, Agent Harris explained. Stay elsewhere? This is our home, Dad said. It's a home that's been under surveillance by foreign intelligence operatives. Until we're certain the threat has passed, it's not safe, Agent Harris said firmly. My parents looked at me, with accusation in their eyes. You brought this here, Mom said quietly. I stored evidence in a secure location following all approved protocols. I had no reason to believe the location had been compromised. I checked the paintings monthly. There were no signs of surveillance or tampering, I said, trying to keep my voice level despite the guilt in my stomach. But they were watching, Dad said. They were. And we caught them. If Ryan hadn't tried to sell the paintings, we might never have known the location was compromised. In a strange way, his actions exposed the surveillance operation, I said. Don't try to make this sound like I helped. I almost sold classified evidence to Russian spies, Ryan said bitterly. You did. And